Oh, forgot. Yeah,
Who am I going to steal?
I don't know.
Thank you all. I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting of June 2nd, 2026 at exactly 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Councilman Werner.
Here.
Councilman Gleason is absent. Councilwoman Leonard.
Present.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. If you are able, please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I believe we do have an addition, deletion, or modification to the agenda. Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask that we remove item D, discussion and action for sponsorship request for the Glades region.
as the person who brought that forward, I just need a motion and a second to remove it, and then I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I move that item D on the agenda of June 2nd be removed.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Leonard, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call. Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Now I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended, please.
I'll move approval of the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Excellent. Moving forward with public comment. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comments. The public comment card should have been completed and returned to the city clerk. When you're called to speak, please go to the podium prior to addressing the council. State your name and address for the record. All public comments will be noted and may receive a response if necessary. Any follow-up will be handled by staff at a later time. Before we take public comment, I'm going to ask that the sheriff's department come up and give their report so that they can get back to keeping us safe, not have to sit through the whole meeting.
There we go. How's everybody today?
Can you hear me now? Better? Not really? Me? More? Can you hear me better now? Good? Okay,
You good?
perfect. I believe we're good now.
Everybody hear me okay? All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Brandon West, the new lieutenant out here in Loxahatchee and Westlake. I've been here a couple times already, gotten to know everybody a little bit here. So thank you all for everything you all have done so far. It's been a very easy transition. This is always fun to come to these because the stats are super low, which is a good thing. Everything looks really, really good. We had 3 arrests in the month of May out here. We only had one really crime report, which is a vandalism case from a golf ball hitting a solar field. I don't know. It's
Hold on.
it's an
Hold on.
case.
Rewind.
that's
because
all I got.
3 arrests is more than I think we've ever had in the history of Westlake. So can you tell us about those or
3,
what they were for?
they were NTAs. One, I know one for sure was
NTA's notice to appear?
notice to appear, yeah. So
Okay.
they weren't actually taken, they were just given notice to appear. One was for a juvenile who was videotaping us and running from the Westlake deputies on a e-bike.
Okay.
He was arrested, the bike was taken, couple charges for that, but he posted all over social media.
Oh, jeez.
But that was really the big thing for the month of May. So that's a great thing
And
for us.
somebody was practicing their drive over by the solar field?
We're practicing their drive.
Hmm.
Golf ball.
You guys heard that, right? That's not allowed in Westlake. You can't drive your golf balls into the solar field.
That's it. Simple, pretty simple there. As we all know, school is out now, so crime could go up a little bit due to school being out, kids being out. We will be out more. You'll see us more visibly and more people out for that as well. I know we got some summer activities coming up, the July the 4th
Yep.
event coming up. We have another meeting next week on that. Everything's set and good to go for that.
LT, do you have the stats for how many tickets were written and warnings and
I
all
think that's
that?
right. So for the month, we had 1,100 business checks. We had traffic stops. We're over 102. And traffic citations. We're 67,
So
so
you made 102 stops
Yeah.
and wrote 67 citations.
yeah, so
right.
that's good. A lot of it's education, a lot of
Warning
it's
time's over, it
Warning
appears, because that used to be like a 10% number.
more citations, and that could be for multiple things.
I don't hate it.
I misspoke. 54 warnings, 34 citations.
Okay,
At
that
67.
sounds a little more on track.
One thing I'd like to just address too really quickly is Thursday, you're going to see at Christ Fellowship. Are you aware of this? The
I'm
funeral?
not. Tell me.
So I just came from the training division. One of the trainers I work with, he's a 37-year veteran, passed away last week. He was just set to retire after 37 years. He wound up having in November a dire medical emergency that occurred while he was on a flight back from Ireland, but it was a heart condition. He had a heart and kidney transplant 2 months ago. The heart took, the kidney never took. He wound up passing away last week. Super close to me. So it's obviously been a pretty tough thing. This guy was K9 SWAT. If you name it, he did it. And he was training our new hires. Everybody was coming out of new hire. He was actually the lead trainer for all of them. So you don't use that legend icon a lot. Status to me, I think there's a lot of great people do this job. He was definitely one of them. We were trying to work out a location to hold something this big funeral wise. So Westlake, Christ Fellowship always steps up. Their normal campus at Southern 441 or Southern 441 and the one on Northlake Boulevard normally host these because they're bigger, but they had Vacation Bible School, children's functions. They could not, displace everybody. So
Westlake
Pastor
is
Jonathan stepped up, and so we're hosting
Amazing.
it Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m.
okay.
So you're going to see a lot of. Just don't be alarmed. You see a ton of law enforcement. You're going to see motorcades. I would expect 600, 700, 800 people probably at least. So that'll be Thursday morning, 10:30 out here.
Will there be
So-
a procession to the?
Oh, there'll be a
Israel?
procession. Yeah. Yeah. So just let everybody know. Don't be alarmed. That's what it's going to be. But it's yeah, he definitely deserves the send off he's getting.
Yeah, I'm
So
deeply sorry for your loss.
yeah, I
Lieutenant.
appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thanks for everything everybody does here.
Wow.
Any questions? Anybody? Anything?
Yeah, the one back.
I'm gonna need you to come to the podium if you got a question.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You might want to stick around real quick because you might have to answer the question, LT. Hold on a second.
Chad Isaacson, 15398 Goldfinch. Since he's here, I just want to address the council and him. And I noticed it this morning, the high school traffic. Once I turn onto Seminole during school season, it takes me 15 minutes to get past the school.
Right.
I got through it 2 minutes today. One of the big issues is, especially where the Winn-Dixie or the Aldi's is, when you're trying to go across, cars constantly turn and sit in the middle. And I've gone through 4 cycles trying to cross that road. At what point, I mean, this is a couple of years, this has been going on. So at what point do we start really majorly ticketing people for sitting in the middle of the road? Or look at the traffic cycles, the light cycles, try to figure out how we can speed up the roadway there.
Noted. Talk to Deputy Heckler and bring it to his attention if he's not.
Oh, I have to apologize for not being here. He had a functional with his kids, so.
That's okay. He can have one council meeting off. Thanks for bringing that to the attention. Okay, I don't see fire here, so let's move forward with actual public comments.
We have a public comment card from Mr. Bobby Farber.
Mr. Farber?
Bobby Farber, 4829 St. Army's Way. I'll get some of this out real quick. Lights out. I've achieved what I want. There's no lights out. Great. See, there's one. There's 4 blue ones. Everything on Persimmon is good. The west side I'm working with Sid over Seminole Pratt Whitney. That's my main focus now on the west side. The traffic issue, I've spoken to timing over and over. There's nothing they could do. We have to seek outside help from the county. So I just want to get that out. On today's agenda, the Happy Program. So annual income of less than 300,000, new buyer, new build, or not owning for 3 years. 1,500 contribution in, plus or minus. There's 5% for admin fees, 5 to 7%. This is not voluntary. This is mandatory. All right. Must have at least 3% down payment of the purchase price. Must have a FICO score of 620. It must be your primary residence. You must own it for 10 years.
Do
35.
real quick, not to interrupt, Mr. Farr, but
You're going to ruin my minutes.
no.
You're going to get me.
I am. We're going to bring this up as an agenda item.
I understand that.
Would you like to save this for the actual item?
Say this, and then
Okay.
maybe the questions will get answered.
All right,
in the
go ahead.
meeting.
Don't worry about
I
the time.
appreciate that.
Don't
Thank
worry
you
about the
very
time.
much.
Go ahead, continue.
So again, you have to have that residence. You can get up to 35K towards your mortgage. The purchase price must be under 679,324. Currently, we have 4,620,451 in the fund. So my question is, since it's not voluntary, it's mandatory, why is it not available to resales? People buy it, they put into it. And I mean, you also have to put into the master HOA. As soon as you put that money in, you could use Adventure Park, but you can't access the program. So for DJ, I don't know if that's legal, if it's not legal, or if the wording has to be changed here, because it's very vague and it's, it ruins a lot of things here. Now, people in my Crestwind, we're talking 55 plus. These people are on fixed incomes. They buy houses under 679,000. This could be their first home. It could be something where they haven't owned a home. They meet all the requirements, but it's not available to them. So I feel like this would be a tremendous help, not only for resales in general for the city, but to help someone 55 plus. Even if it's a resale, it should be included for the 55 plus community here. There's not a whole lot of love going on to the 55 plus here. We're the only 55 plus here. And we're paying school tax, we're paying all this other stuff. And now people who want to come in and buy homes here, I mean, they're being told no if they're resales. So I think this needs to be addressed for us, for resales in general throughout the entire city. And I hope it is going to get addressed tonight. And legally, I mean, either the wording has to change or.
I mean, it's okay. Well, we will address your concern during the actual presentation, but I'm going to tell you resales were left out purposefully. But we'll explain it when we get to the
Okay.
agenda item. Thank you for your comment. Any other comments from the public, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mayor. Miss Annie Rodriguez.
Annie Rodriguez, 5991 Whippoorwill Circle, Hammocks. Last time I was here, I asked about the zoning regarding what's going on with the AI plants that they're building. And have you guys looked at the zoning and how our city is addressing that? No one knew. I was wondering, my first question, do you look into it? Are we protected? And then I would also like to encourage the community to really look into what's going on in Utah. I mean, I haven't really been following 100%, but with the water, with the humming sound, and I had someone tell me, well, that's down southern, it's not going to affect us. I'm not really sure about that. So my first question is, have you guys looked into that regarding to the zoning? Number two, could you give us a status on what's going on with that project? And last but not least, we all need to be a little bit more concerned. I know I wasn't following. I was just looking at social media about how that particular site, if in fact gets approved or it is approved, how it's really going to impact us. Because what's going on in Utah, supposedly, with the water and the humming sound is a big deal. So I just wanted, I don't know if you guys want to address it now or.
Legal is working on some ordinance language. And I can tell you that the city of Westlake specifically sent over a resolution to the Palm Beach County Commission that would bar that project. I mean, we can only say what our will is. We have no control over them.
Right.
But it was specifically against putting a hyperscale data center within 5 miles of a school or residences. And that project is, I can drive a golf ball, and I'm a terrible golfer,
Right.
from
Right.
the school to the AI data center. So, the city itself is in opposition of that program. There's a vote, I believe, on July 15th, that if you're also in opposition to that program, I urge you to go down to the Board of County Commissions
Okay.
and voice your concerns as well. But that's a county project completely outside of our
Yes, I do
jurisdiction.
know. And maybe the city could do something to just get the word out a little bit more.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem like a lot of people are, like, believe it or not, even though it's in Carmela's, everything,
right.
a lot of us are just too busy with our lives and not focused.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be. And I was gonna say one more thing, but I forgot. So
That's
thank you.
okay.
Hearing yesterday, I think at 2 p.m.
Okay.
and they had it posted on social media and I just happened to see it as well, but.
There's a public hearing where?
Seeing there was, I can look it up. I don't have the address,
Oh,
but at 2
interesting.
o'clock yesterday, they did ask for volunteers, the community to come out and share their thoughts. So
Okay, well, maybe we could do something, the city, the
Sure.
city clerk, or someone could just get more information out there. I wish I would know.
Yeah.
I should be more aware. But thank you, and that's it for me.
Thank you for your comments, Tapia. Do we have any more public comments at this time?
No additional public comment cards. Mayor.
I see Fire walked in the room. I'm going to invite you up so you can get back to keeping us safe as well, rather than waiting to the end of the meeting.
there was a fire.
I actually saw that. I saw Station 22 rolling out.
Hello, everybody.
Talk to us,
Good
Chief.
evening. Congratulations to you on your installation for the
you.
President of the League of Cities. It's very
President of the
cool.
league, yeah.
It's
Thank you
nice
so
to
much.
be
I
there to
appreciate
see that.
That's great.
So the call volume for the month of May was 65 calls. And just about 65% of that were medical calls. The average dispatch handling time was 49 seconds. The average turnout time was 39 seconds. Average travel time was 4 minutes, 31 seconds for a total overall average response time of 5 minutes and 59 seconds. And I was looking compared to last year for the month of May for 2025, and we ran 20 more calls and our response times are better by 12 minutes, or excuse me, 12 seconds. Ooh, that would have been huge. Sorry. 12 seconds, but still 12 seconds is a big deal because if you hold your breath for 12 seconds, right, it's a big deal. So our response times are improving and the call volume's increasing. So it's very good.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank
Any
you.
questions for Chief? No?
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, if we have no more public comment, let's move forward with the consent agenda. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Please, come on up. Ms. Westlake Wanderer herself.
Sorry, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I actually had a question for PBSO and the chief. So for the chief, I was going, through Town Center Parkway South when the engines were called somewhere. And I thought the yellow blinking lights were supposed to turn red, but they did not. So I don't know if that, I don't know.
Question number one.
Yeah.
And what's the second
And then
question?
also for PBSO, there has been a spate of bicycle robberies or some things. They're being stolen, whatever. So
In
I just,
Westlake?
yes,
Okay.
from the school bus stops. And I'm just wondering if anyone's reporting those because I get if it's one bike and you're kind of like, I didn't lock it, whatever. But if it's a pattern, then something needs to be done. So I just wondered if they're being reported. Thank
Thank you
you.
for your questions. Before they leave, Chief, the question was, I'll repeat, as you're leaving Station 22 for a call, that blinking light, it was understood was supposed to turn red. And while you were leaving, it didn't turn red. Is that something that needs to get fixed?
So there's a button on the wall that the
Okay.
crews hit on their way out that sets a timer and it cycles through and it gives 2 minutes. So it doesn't all of a sudden just turn red if somebody's like in the middle or passing or whatever, so they don't have to slam on the brakes. So I don't know how close you were.
But it will turn red after 2 minutes.
Yes, as long as they're hitting that button on the way out. So I could inquire.
You guys would be out of there by 2
tonight's-
minutes.
Yeah, well, right, but then it cycles through, so it gives
Okay.
2 minutes. So sometimes,
Scraggler.
they jump in the truck and they take off. So maybe they went before the 2 minutes. I
Or
don't
they
know.
didn't hit the button.
Or they didn't hit the button. Yeah.
All right.
Did that answer the question?
LT, I understand there's a plight of bikes being stolen
On school property?
on Westlake property from the bus stop areas, our bike racks.
I don't have any stats, guys. I haven't. People where you are calling and letting us know because we do have, responses to that. So yeah, you are,
So they're not reporting it.
we don't have anything on it, so it must not be calling in.
Miss Westlake Wanderer, please get the word out. You got to call PBSO and report it so that they can know and that we can know. Thank you. Any other public comments before we move forward with the consent agenda? Nope, you'll have another opportunity later. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items that require final approval by the city council and may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless a council member requests such, in which an event, an item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered on a future agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes,
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
thank you. Hold on. Moving forward with proclamations and presentations, I have oh, is this I know, but is there something written?
Certificates.
Okay, so what we have, I'm gonna have you do it, since you head up that committee. What we have here is recognition that Seminole Ridge High School has dual enrolled students and a Teacher of the Year award. And I just want to say, I was on stage for Seminole Ridge's graduation, and the amount of dual enrolled students is tremendous. And not only that, one earned their bachelor's while still in high school, and there were several that earned their associates while before even graduating high school. I guess my time's up. It's and the salutatorian, I think that's the way that's called, is here. So all that being said, I just want to take a moment to recognize how astounding these young intellects are, and high school's hard enough. So this is tremendous to also come out with a college degree. That's great. Or even just the fact that you're taking college classes while in high school, which I was doing enrolled when I was in high school, for the record. So that being said, you head up the education committee.
Yes.
I'd like you to do the honors here.
Okay.
I'll get up for pictures, but I want you to do it.
So just
Vice
to
Mayor.
piggyback on that, well, there was 24 students from Seminole Ridge High School that graduated with both degrees. We have 3 students here this evening, and the other certificates will be provided to the school principal. and
Okay.
They'll distribute that for us. We also have 3 members of our Education Advisory Board here this evening as well. But we have 3 individuals tonight. The first one is Evan Aho.
You want to do it? Yeah.
We'll have you do
I wanted the vice mayor. Come in front over here. Like a Christmas. So. In recognition of your successful completion of the dual enrollment program at Seminole Ridge High School, your commitment to academic excellence, the City Council of Westlake congratulates you on this outstanding achievement and wishes you continued success in all your future endeavors. Congratulations. Well done.
And then the next is our salutatorian, Isis Sakura.
Yeah.
She comes back.
Sure. Hello again. In recognition of your successful completion of the dual enrollment program at Seminole Ridge High School and your commitment to academic excellence, the City Council of Westlake congratulates you on this outstanding achievement and wishes you continued success in all your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Yeah, here.
Well done. Amazing.
And also this evening, we have Brianna Vargas.
In recognition of your successful completion of the dual enrollment program at Seminole Ridge High School, your commitment to academic excellence, the City Council of Westlake congratulates you on this outstanding achievement wishes you continued success in all future endeavors. Congratulations. Well done.
What's up, three? I'm going to. Board member, what's up, three?
Okay.
Don't go away. I'm gonna invite everybody up for one photo with all three of you.
All three students, please.
Not everybody. Just- You know that. You guys should all be incredibly.
May you come on the side? Thank you.
Michael Block.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Take one together, and then I'm gonna have the advisory board.
1, 2, 3.
Picture, please.
Okay.
Sorry. All right, please, thank you.
We got 3 more people coming.
Come on, education advisory board. That's all about.
Do like this.
Amazing accomplishment. One more round of applause. Okay. I believe I have a presentation for June 10th that's not on my script, but I know it's here. Proclamation. Juneteenth Independence Day. Whereas the Emancipation Proclamation was formally issued on January 1st, 1863, declaring that enslaved Africans in the Confederate States of America were to be freed. And whereas news of the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation was not immediately delivered to the most remote areas of the Confederate States of America. And whereas news of the abolition of enslavement of Africans was not delivered to all the Confederate States until after the conclusion of the American Civil War. And whereas all of the Confederate States received news at the end of enslavement of African people on June 19th, 1865. And whereas June 19th, Juneteenth, is a linguistic blend of the words June and 19th, was adopted to commemorate the historic and pivotal date in American history. And whereas beginning on January 1st, 1980, several states and municipal governments in the United States have declared June 19th a legal holiday. And whereas June 19th, Juneteenth, is celebrated nationally and internationally to recognize the end of the enslavement of Africans in the United States and to celebrate the culture and achievement of African Americans. And whereas today, millions of Americans of all races, creeds, religious and ethnic backgrounds celebrate Juneteenth, which not only celebrates freedom, but also acknowledges the achievements of African Americans. And as celebrations continue to spread, we can all be reminded of the oft repeated maxim, until all are free, none are free. That highlights the manner of the end of slavery in the United States. Now, therefore, I, John Paul O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Westlake, in the state of Florida, on behalf of the city of Westlake, do hereby proclaim June 19th in the city of Westlake as Juneteenth Independence Day. I will sign this as soon as I get a pen. Did I skip something? Where am I at?
It's the 10-year anniversary.
I still don't see. All right, rewinding to the City of Westlake 10-year anniversary acknowledgement. Oh, by your boss, Senator Moody. 10 years, can you believe it? Okay, what do we got?
Hi, I'm Senator Moody.
Here we go.
Here to congratulate you, the city of Westlake, on celebrating its 10th anniversary. Since its incorporation in 2016, Westlake has grown from a small area of citrus groves into one of Florida's fastest growing and innovative communities. This nationally recognized city is now over 10,000 residents strong and continues to attract families. I commend Westlake's efforts to help first responders and military members find a home through the Welcome Heroes program and Housing Assistance Purchase program. Helping folks who protect and serve their communities with affordable home ownership where they work is something I'm working on through my Helper Act. On behalf of all Floridians, congratulations to the residents and leaders who have built such a remarkable city. Here's to the next decade and beyond in Westlake.
Oh, very cool. All right. 10 years. Amazing. All right, moving forward, public hearing. We have the first reading, ordinance 2026-03, chapter 18, solid waste. City Attorney, please read by title.
Yes, sir. An ordinance of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, amending chapter 18 of the City of Westlake Code of Ordinance entitled Solid Waste by amending section 18-23 entitled Definitions, section 18-49 entitled Residential Solid Waste Services Assessments Authorized, and by creating section 18-67 entitled Multifamily Developments to provide for the collection of residential or commercial solid waste collection service for multifamily developments, establishing minimum service requirements, providing for applicability of the residential solid waste special assessment, providing for compliance and enforcement, providing for service election procedures, providing for codification, conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you for that, Counselor. I assume we have a presentation from staff or someone. There we go.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This is Neil Leon, City Planner for the City of Westlake. We don't have an official presentation. This is item is privately initiated. We do have the applicant here to provide some comments. And we do also have the operations coordinator to speak about the city's contract with waste management, and also city attorney will also answer some questions.
All right, let's hear from everybody we got to hear from. Who's next? What do we got?
Good evening. Catherine Rossmell. I'm here on behalf of East Wind Development LLC tonight. And you are probably wondering why a developer is here on a solid waste item, because it's not a land use approval or a rezoning. But what it is a precursor to allowing multifamily to come to Westlake. And so that's why I'm the one here explaining it to you tonight. Successful multifamily development really requires two things, right? Future tenants and feasibility. Right now, the City of Westlake Code provides that all residential dwelling units are subject to a solid waste assessment. What that does is prevent commercial developers, like those who develop multifamily, from putting in place solid waste service that exceeds what the city currently provides for residences. And that's what East Wind would like the opportunity to do. It actually wants to provide a service beyond what is provided in the code. There's currently no mechanism to allow this. So, we have brought forth and requested of your staff that they consider, and your legal department, that they consider an amendment that would allow a multifamily complex to be able to be treated like a commercial complex in the City of Westlake. This is very common. It's actually spoken to already in your existing contract with solid waste. It doesn't require an amendment of that. So it's really cleaning up some definitions and allowing East Wind to move forward as if it were a commercial development, because although it is in the business of providing residences, it is not run the same way as a private residence. To be clear, it would allow the city to step in and enforce and reassess the property if it were not living up to expectations. It would be a condition of site plan approval elected at that time and could only be changed with the permission of the city. And the city would have the ability to require evidence that proper standards are being met should anything run afoul. So the other big question for the city that we received is, will this affect the amount of funding that the city receives from the Waste Management Inc., who is the city's contractor? The answer to that is substantively no. Whether it's a commercial development or a residential development, all users receiving services from Waste Management Inc., 3% of what Waste Management Inc. receives comes back to the city. So that's true in any contract that's negotiated. So substantively, you're on similar footing. This also mostly serves to bring your existing code in line with your existing contract. And it would allow Eastwind to develop a property that is in line with what the market would expect and feasible. So for that reason, we're very in support of this. I'm happy to answer any questions. This, to be clear, would not apply only to Eastwind. This is citywide, but
Right.
it is necessary to bring multifamily to Westlake from really any developer.
I have a couple questions just in layman terms. Let me reiterate what I think you just said in very technical legal terms. Basically, in the city of Westlake right now, our trash mechanism is for individual homeowners to bring their trash bin to the curb in order for that to get picked up.
Residences, yes.
For residentials, for homeowners and renters and so on and so forth. And then we also have commercial, which is the big dumpsters that trash comes and picks up and throws into the truck. Because we're contemplating a multi-family apartment type complex, they've got second floors and third floors. There's no ability for them to put a trash bin on the curb and like we'd all do, and the trash truck just to come and pick it up and throw it in the thing. They'll offer some kind of valet service, or they'll have one big room that you throw your trash in or something along those lines. And then it'll end up in the dumpster via their own staff. Whereas the trash company, Waste Management, will come and pick it up and take it away.
Right.
So we have a deficiency in our code, basically, which doesn't allow for anything but the big bin on the curb. Am I understanding correctly?
That's basically correct. I mean, the scope of any particular contract with solid waste would be worked out, but the idea is exactly what you suggested, which is to allow a valet type of service for
Because
apartment
there'd be
complexes.
apartments.
Right.
Right. How, third floor, fourth floor, second floor, you can't just wheel it out to the curb like we're used to doing.
And importantly, to secure that type of service, the assessment that is in place for residential units would eat up the funds that were available to provide that type of service and make a marketable product.
I guess the only question I have is, why wasn't this thought of like when the code was written?
Well, I can't speak to that part of it specifically, but I can tell you that as the city has grown, they did negotiate a contract that is a sophisticated contract with Waste Management, and it specifically provides for that in here. So just bringing the code in line with
I get
what's
it.
in place. Then there was the
We're just
contract
playing a little
pieces.
bit of catch up because there's a new project that potentially triggers us
To
that
pay attention to this
discovered a deficiency in our code.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Do we have any more questions for Catherine?
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Please,
thank you, Mayor.
you're recognized.
Catherine, on the application for this request, the property control number is listed as a portion of 77 and the whole series of other numbers. Where is that property?
It's Pod L, so we're right by it.
Across the street from.
Yes.
where we are now.
Yes.
So,
I'm very bad with cardinal directions. I apologize.
so if you go out the front door and you look straight out, it's on that property. That's the town center, downtown property.
Yeah, and to be clear, we were required to put in a property number associated with this because there is not a form available on the city's website that allows for this kind of code revision that's outside the land development code. So this is a citywide ordinance. It's not tied to a specific application. It was just a way to make sure that we were complying with the city's processes.
I hear you, but is the parcel number that's listed here, is that the entire property?
Is that the entire I mean, so it is, again, this is
That we look at when we look out the front door.
Well, you can see a large parcel of property that is outside the front door. It is not everything that you can see. But again, this application and this request is not for a specific little piece of that. It is related with what Eastwind hopes to develop, which is near to this building. It is on this side of that property, but that's a very large field out there. It is not for the entirety of it that's tied to this particular request.
Okay. The request could be made after we see that proposal, could it not be?
No, sir, because the idea is to put it in a site plan approval. And so you cannot request it of an applicant to put in a site plan if it's not a part of your code.
Well, certainly you can if you submit the application for the code amendment at the same time.
You can, it would slow down the process, but if you could make that request, but the ability to bind an applicant with a condition of approval is dependent on it being in the code prior to that application.
How many acres are we talking about?
Again, it's not tied to it's a citywide ordinance.
No, but you just referred to a development proposal. So my question is, how many acres?
I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but again, I would encourage you to not think of this in terms of one particular developer.
Even though one particular developer submitted this.
Has requested this, yes, sir, but it would apply across the city to encourage multifamily development within the city. And I can get the acreage if you like. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Well, yeah, because how would we know here on the council that you're not talking about the entire 60 acres for apartments?
That is not the subject of today's request.
Yeah, may I say something, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, hold on one second. Mr. Manager, please go ahead.
Yes, through the mayor, Howard Brown, city manager.
Oh, sir.
Councilmember Werner, this item is a standalone code. And the city, we did not have a mechanism to receive these kind of requests. This morning, I had a staff meeting, we discussed this particular item, and this item is not related to the land development code. It is a standalone code. It is to address issues related to solid waste disposal, period. And so the applicant is really just trying to explain kind of the why here. So.
I understand.
Okay.
And for the benefit of those here, I don't have any problem with what they're requesting, but I do have a concern about why it's being requested now and why it's not being presented at the same time as a development proposal is.
Oh, I can answer that. The answer is because it is a developer who's trying to secure a feasible project, which involves looking at funding. That funding is not apparently available, where they would have to pay both for the service that they need to provide to make a marketable product by providing valet service and by paying the city assessment. So to get this project out of the ground, this ordinance is a key piece of that.
If you could clarify something for me really quick, because I'm having trouble understanding. All right, so the potential project on parcel L, right? If the project died today, never existed, got moved to a different parcel, the issue of not having a mechanism to collect the trash would still exist.
It would still exist, and it would discourage multifamily from any developer from being able to come into Westlake.
So regardless of what the specific project is, we don't have an ability to even attract apartments without addressing this trash concern.
That is my understanding of this from multiple developers who have looked at this issue.
Just wanted to clarify.
Okay, I understand your answer. I would suggest that this matter be continued until we see a development proposal. That way we will have a better understanding of what you're recommending.
Are there any other questions I can answer?
There's others, right?
Yeah, there's other what, sorry.
Presentation.
I think we have our operations, what do we have? Sorry.
Yeah. Our operations coordinator's here, but he's only here to answer questions of the council.
I mean, the only question I would have is, has the text amendment been ran by our current provider? Have they been looped in? It's not a question of you.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that question, Mayor.
Is that something that our operations coordinator could answer?
We're gonna see if he has that answer. If you could, Mr. Hanif, please approach the podium.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I had spoke to Waste Management today about it, and they say everything falls in line based on how it's written here.
Okay.
What they have in other places, and would work just fine with what we have as far as collecting fees as well.
I mean, the only thing I would say is this is only first reading, correct?
Yes.
Is between first and second reading, if we could get the actual provider to opine. And, perhaps more than a day to review something. If you only sent it today, they probably need a little bit more than a day.
Right, and we actually have a meeting set with them for this Thursday, so we can bring that up.
Yeah, so you guys can
with
talk
them as
about it
well.
on Thursday.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Aside from that, it appears to me that this is just addressing a deficiency in our code and something that would allow us to attract apartments, which we desperately need and get asked for all the time. Thank you, Hanif. Anybody else have any questions for operations in terms of waste management? Sure.
So you would like to make recommendation for the provider solid waste to come to the next?
No, not necessarily. I would like to know their opinion on it. I know what you said, but
I can actually,
if there's maybe a letter from them, they could say if they have any suggestions or if they're great with it, they give it 5 stars. I don't know, but if you just sent it to them today, I sincerely doubt they've had time to truly
right.
look it over.
The specific question that we approached to them, they just basically stated, commercially collected solid waste from multifamily properties will be subject to franchise fees pursuant to the franchise agreement. They just, and in regards to a question that got asked to make sure that proper fees are getting collected on what would happen in the future. They didn't specify.
I'm just going to speak this out into the universe. I don't know if everybody saw, but tax reform passed the House and Senate today and will be coming to us for referendum. That being said,
Mayor, that's not the subject.
no, it kind of is on the subject because it has to do with revenue for the city.
We're talking about.
And I want, please, don't interrupt me. You're not recognized.
You're out of order.
I'm not out of order. I want to ensure that the 3% franchise fee, which is revenue for the city, will still continue to be collected even under this specific agreement.
To your question, yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Does anybody else have questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have
a public hearing?
a public hearing? We're going to open the public hearing and ask for comments from the public on this item. Madam Clerk?
I received no public comment cards, Mayor, but it looks like you have someone in the audience that wishes to speak.
Please, Ms. Techera.
Okay. Annie Rodriguez, 5991 Whippoorwill Circle. Okay, so regarding this particular change to the zoning or to the trash collection, and thank you for actually translating. I really appreciate that. That was very helpful.
I needed to make sure I understood it well, so I appreciate that.
Align with Council Wertner. I call him Gary, so my apology. This is opening the door for multifamily.
Correct.
And this is the second time I hear, someone in Minto actually told me, could be wrong, hearsay, that area that we thought was going to be a city, like a town center, is actually residential. So now here I hear that there's a potential, you use the word, a possible, anyway, I wrote it down, but multifamily apartments, which I don't know who's asking for apartments, but all I hear is that we don't want apartments. And I'm wondering if they're rental, if they're condos. And I think by approving this, you guys are opening the door, as Council Wertner said, to the fact that there's somebody working on this and we don't know what they're working on. So I don't think it should be approved. And I'm really concerned about it. And that's all
I will say that I'm gonna invite Donaldson Hearing up to discuss it, but I will say that area was always mixed use and it always had a residential component. It was supposed to be live, work, play, and the rentals support the town center, and it all works together like Alton in Palm Beach Gardens.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. For the record, Donaldson Hearing here tonight on behalf of East Wind Development, who is the developer in this particular case. But as Catherine pointed out, that this ordinance is applicable to whether it's condominiums or whether it's rental, or whether it's not rental, to create any type of multifamily type of development feasible. It's a correction in your code, and it's something that is important if we're going to attract people to invest the money in Westlake, because it basically becomes somewhat of a go, no-go type of a scenario. But relative to the issue of multifamily or apartments, very, very clear. Your code not only contemplates it, it mandates housing within the downtown mixed use district. And there's a minimum percentage that is required within the downtown mixed use district. And so this is just fulfilling what was always been contemplated by your code. It's also very important to point out that the use is a use by right. It's not a use that's someone needs to come and request approval for. We're not modifying the zoning code. The zoning code permits multifamily. The zoning code anticipates multifamily. It's something that's really important to have a well-rounded city. If we want the city that has all those services that we've all talked about, people who work here need to be able to afford to live here. So it provides that function. To answer Councilman Werner's question, the site's only 18 acres. It's a very, very small portion of the overall site. So that's, the majority of that still, the overall site is 62 acres. So this is a small portion of that piece of property. But again, there is a minimum requirement of residential within the downtown mixed use zoning district. And this meets that obligation.
So just to reiterate, apartments were always part of the plan in the downtown district, and they're required to be part of the plan.
If you want
housing,
if you want this, we have them in Alton. So,
I know.
I did the
I
master
understand.
plan there for Alton. In all these mixed use communities, having the diversity of housing types are absolutely critical. And having that ability for people to be able to walk to restaurants and having the density there to support those restaurants that we and uses that we want. If we want that walkable environment, it's not going to happen because we have a suburban environment that's spread out.
Right.
So we're going to have to create some of those synergies and that energy that's there.
And we need places for people to live that's affordable.
Oh, absolutely.
And one question for Mr. Herring.
Sure, please.
You used the word mandated. Can you tell me where in the code it's mandate to have residential in the downtown?
The comprehensive plan has a minimum density requirement for the downtown. So it was anticipated.
And what do you define as the downtown?
Well, it's the downtown mixed use district, but there's.
Right.
Well, Counselor, it's the use is a permitted use by right. And the comprehensive plan defines that very, very clearly.
I understand the permitted use by right. I'm not objecting to multiple family in the downtown or anywhere in the city. I'm objecting to the fact that we're being presented with this particular amendment, which we haven't had for 10 years. Now, all of a sudden, we're looking at having it, and we've done fine without it up to this point. All I'm saying is, I'd like to see what the proposal is before I know that the entirety of the downtown is consumed by apartments.
So, sorry,
You
Mr.
may.
Mayor, you may. Okay.
Please.
So to be clear, there's also a maximum of residential in the town center area that we're talking about. So it's not possible under your current comprehensive plan for that to happen. Aside from that, none of that is before you today. This ordinance is about allowing the possibility for multifamily to be considered by the city. And that's it. It's simply opening the door to allow for the possibility, and a specific plan is not before you. As the mayor very articulately pointed out, if it were to evaporate tomorrow, this would still be important for attracting even the possibility of multifamily within the city. That's all this does. There is no plan before you. There's no proposal before you. There's no site plan before you. No rezoning is requested. None of those are before the council this
No, you
evening.
don't need to explain that to me. I fully understand that. What I'm saying is you are proposing an ordinance that we haven't had for 10 years. And it's tied to a particular developer right now. You said so in your application. That developer supposedly has an application pending in the downtown property. We don't know, is it the entire downtown property? Is it a portion of the downtown property? We don't know if it's only apartments or are they doing apartments above commercial? I mean, it's called a non-residential zone. That's what you call it, the downtown district. It's a non-residential zone that allows residents. I understand that.
Please. I mean, the counselor just stated very clearly that it cannot be the entire property.
It can. This is first reading, Mr. Werner. I know we have a meeting scheduled later in the month. I'll be glad to present the entire plan to you in great detail at our meeting. But we would request that this move forward because this affects the feasibility, financing of us and everyone else looking at the city.
I'm going to also state that any plan for any apartment complex has to come in front of us. It's not like this triggers an automatic approval of that. Correct?
Not any.
Sorry. Okay. Do we have any other comment cards?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Okay. Please, on this item?
Yeah. Bobby Farber, 4829 St. Armand's Way. From what I've, well, thank you, Don. You've answered the 18 acres out of the 60. I've always known this to be where there was going to be, it was zoned for 130 apartment, hotel rooms. And it was zoned for 30 residents. My vision of it, that I thought it was going to look like Abacoa, where there was going to be businesses and there were going to be hotel rooms and or apartments above them and everything. So I'm more curious that, is this going to be standalone? So is this just going to be built as a standalone apartment complex and has nothing to do with businesses coming in? So, you know, there's a big difference with that. So kind of like a city within a city. So maybe you can kind of clear, I am assuming that this will come before planning and zoning, obviously.
It has to.
Yeah, of course, and then get approval for all of that.
And it's not in front of us today.
Right.
Right. All right. So just to let you know, that was my assumption
Yeah.
of it, what it was zoned for and not to be.
There's possibility for a hotel to go on the property. There's, and then in terms of Abacoa, I'll just say, from what I understand, the insurance costs to put residences above businesses has changed drastically in the last decade or 20 years from when Abacoa was built, and they don't do that anymore. Like Alton Town Center, they build them adjacent, but the apartments support the town center. And that's where your managers live, and that's where your workers live, and your back of the house and all that stuff. You wanted to make a public comment? If anybody wants to check out Alton, it's phenomenal. It's a great place.
Chad Isaacson, 15398 Goldfinch Circle. First, I want to thank Gary for actually putting questions up there. It's unusual to see anybody else on the board actually question a lot. But I don't know that it was a deficiency. I think it's what we are sold. You say it was a deficiency that was left out of the ordinance, but as has been mentioned, we were sold a downtown district. So we build apartments. Where's the percentage of downtown that goes with those apartments? We're just going to build apartments. And then Minto is going to come to you again and say, oh, we want to sell this off for apartments. And you guys will vote for it again because it's Minto, and you pretty much vote yes on Minto. So at the end of the day, where's the stop for us as residents as a protection to say, this is the only residential we're going to build here. The rest of it has to be commercial. There's no other option until you guys decide to change it. And I know you say you've done all you can do, but there's a comprehensive plan that you guys could have changed at any point or revisited or reviewed, but it wasn't a deficiency. It's what we were sold when we bought here was a downtown district, not apartment complexes and rentals and a Walmart and everything else. We were sold a beautiful city, and you guys are deciding to change that.
Please.
Hello, Sally and Sarah, 4554 State Circle. Hi,
Hello.
everybody. I agree completely with what they're saying. I've been here since the beginning. You know that. We were sold a big story. That's not happening. The town center is super important. If it's going to have apartment complexes, rentals, like what is that all about? That is never what they told us they were going to put in our city. We were going to have like, you know, Abacoa. That's not
Those
really,
rentals.
that's part. Yes, I don't like the rental part, but the
Abacoa is a perfect example.
residences
There's rentals
above,
there.
okay, I have never been there to tell you the truth. The residences above the stores,
Yeah, they
outside
don't do that
dining,
anymore.
restaurants, stores, mom and pop shops, all these things that Minto has been selling forever. And quite frankly, we don't believe anything that comes out of their mouth for what's happening downtown. And that's the problem that the residents have. We believe nothing.
Okay,
Just doesn't happen.
thank you for
So
your
I
comment.
vote no on the garbage thing.
Ms. Torres.
Hi again, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I do have to say I am highly suspicious of the way this information has kind of been delivered, which is like the backdoor trash problem. And I think there are a lot of implications that we need to consider, not just trash code deficiency wise. You know, I think it's Mr. Isaacson was saying he was sold to downtown. I was sold the mixed use downtown, where there would be the residential maybe on top of the bowling alley, which I would love, anything at this point. So I get that, but I imagine if this is a deficiency in the code for mixed use like that, there are other deficiencies. And so maybe we should just wait on this, have the developer or the city, whatever, get together and kind of just look to make sure, are we precluding like a really good downtown mixed use developer because of these deficiencies? I just wonder how this one was just found out right now after all these years. The other thing I wondered is if in the designation for mixed use, is there a stopgap or a qualifier that says it must be mixed use? Or is there something that says mixed use could be all residential, or it could be all commercial, all and only commercial? Those are my concerns there too. I'm just saying there are a lot of implications that I think need to be considered here. And I don't know if the attorney knows that offhand. Okay, all right, thanks.
Thanks for your comment. I think we're having a mic issue. It seemed to die halfway through. I don't know if we have a backup or extra batteries, or maybe it timed out. Do we have any other public comment on the trash issue? Because it's trash. Okay, Vice?
Okay, Osnell, anything from staff side? Comprehensive plan, code, anything?
No, like,
Have you seen the East Wind plan?
yes, it's currently under review.
Okay,
But it's not ready to bring it to council at the moment. It's from my board of comments.
and it is only 18 acres.
Yeah, it's a master plan.
Mayor, I really would.
You're right.
you all
You're right, Council. Let's stick to the item.
Avoid
You're correct.
discussing a project. This is a legislative
Understood.
action.
You're right. Trash questions only, please.
Trying to think about a way to phrase this. So if I'm supporting approving the first reading, before the second reading, will we have more answers in July
What?
to what plans are happening?
But it still will not have any bearing legally on your deliberation. What you're doing tonight is being asked to consider an amendment to the code, which will allow for a different type of solid waste collection in multifamily developments.
That's it.
Period. Respectfully.
I don't want to go down these rabbit holes when we have one issue before us.
We
Mayor, you
want to
have-
make a public comment?
Hi, I just wanted to, Tara Dewey, Lewis Lomond and Walker on behalf of Minto PVLH. Just in response to that question, while this does deal with attractiveness of a different project to the area, whether it be the apartment complex that the applicant is discussing or any other, it does not prohibit or it would not negate the ability of a multifamily developer to come forward. So the project could still be approved and is still a permitted use by right. So this absolutely has nothing to do with the land use issues that would be associated with that kind of a development, which would come forward in a separate quasi judicial hearing. This is simply saying for trash collection purposes, where you have an apartment complex where it's infeasible to have a single family home situation, you would assess it this way. So it would not impact the ability of a multifamily home to, it wouldn't be it would not prevent an apartment complex from coming forward as permitted by right in the city.
Are you saying then that this request tonight could be piggybacked on a development proposal for apartments?
No, that's absolutely the opposite of what I just said.
Why? Why can't we have an agenda item for a public hearing for the ordinance and another agenda item for a development proposal?
I don't understand that question. This is a discussion about how you assess for waste fees, and I am not the applicant. I was just making a public comment to answer Councilman Langowski's question.
It appears to me that if our code was proper from the get-go and we anticipated this in our code, we wouldn't even be having this conversation today at all. What we are doing is we're addressing a deficiency in our code. Apartments right now can't go anywhere in the entire city. I'm sorry, I used the A word, but we need to be able to attract those developments, period. End of story. Do we have any other public comments before I close the hearing? No, Madam Clerk? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. And now we open for council discussion.
I have one question.
I'll reopen the public hearing. You're gonna have to come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. I'm gonna get yelled at by my attorney later, but please go ahead.
Eleanor Siegel, 5185 Batch Hill, Honda Lane. You keep talking about doing projects for apartment buildings. What if you brought in some upscale restaurants, retail stores?
Yeah, so the land is for sale. We don't bring people in. We
Well, you
promote the
encourage
city.
them.
No, well, we promote the city, right? But we can't force an upscale restaurant to come here, especially when there's nowhere for the managers to live. And that has been an issue with restaurants. I've had restaurants who wanted to build in Westlake, not build in Westlake, because they currently have to pay their managers an obscene amount of money to come because there's no place for these people to live in the city.
However, that would cover your waste management.
We still need places for people to live that's affordable. There's nowhere. There's 17,000 rooftops that surround Westlake,
All right.
and they're all, big, huge homes. We want to attract amazing high-end restaurants and all that. We want to. It's very important to us.
And what have you done for that process?
Quite a bit. We'll discuss later. Council discussion. Mr. Warner.
Well, I've said most of what I intended to say and looked for answers to some questions which I haven't received. My suggestion would be to hold this thing over until a future date when we have a little more understanding of what this particular what any developer might want to propose. Because we don't have apartments yet, so we're not losing out anything on trash collection. We can always make this, like I said, I don't have a problem with what's being recommended. It's pretty standard across the board for multiple family that you have a group bin for many apartment units. That's not my issue. My issue is why are we doing it now? And how is that going to affect the balance of the properties in our downtown?
Okay, Councilwoman Leonard, you have some comments?
So in response to that, I think the applicant did mention that this is not just about that one property, but it will allow them to get funding. So take them out of the picture. I think any developer coming to this area, building a multi-use facility or multi-residential is going to need this code in order to come in. If they're looking for funding, this code has to be in place for them to receive that funding. I'm confused on why we keep going left when all we're talking about is a code approval so that in the future, so rather it's Minto or anyone that wants to build condos or any multi-facility this year in 5 years, the code will be there for the developer to get the funding and build what they need to build with your approval. In 5 years, I won't be here, but whatever it is, the code will allow developers and them to receive funding. Things are changing every year. I think we go down these rabbit holes about things that are not on the agenda. Let's stick to the agenda and approve or not approve the code. We don't build, we don't own land. I don't know why we have these discussions every single month. This makes no sense.
Thank you, Councilwoman Leonard, for
Thank
your
you.
leadership. Mr. Vice Mayor?
It's the first reading, so we have a second reading, so I'll just say that.
Just to piggyback on what Councilman Leonard was saying, right now, we don't have an ability for a hotel project to even look at the city of Westlake because there's no way to get trash collected. A nice, elegant, high-scale hotel cannot even look at us because we don't have the mechanism in place for their trash to get collected. A high-end apartment complex, anything that has residences cannot, on multi-levels, cannot physically come to the city of Westlake because the powers that made the code glitched and didn't include this in there. And if it was included, we wouldn't even be talking about it today. It's not tethered to a single project. It's a deficiency in our code that does not allow for the economic development of our city in terms of anything but single family or single level homes. For those reasons, I think this is a no-brainer, and I agree with the rabbit hole conversation. This shouldn't be as deep as it is.
Mayor,
Please.
your rebuttal, I think, holds very little water. What you're saying has not affected Walmart or Lowe's.
Because you don't live in Walmart or Lowe's.
Of course.
That's why it hasn't
The
affected them.
employees need a place to live as well. That's my point.
You're right.
They're not
Just
doing
made my point for me.
No,
Employees
I'm
need a
saying
place to live.
That did not hold up Walmart, it did not hold up Lowe's, has not held up any of the other commercial
Okay.
buildings
Well,
that we've seen and approved.
It's not a multifamily.
It holds up multifamily. I don't see anyone on this board who would
so are you
not.
saying you're
consider-
anti-apartments in Westlake?
Mayor.
That's not up for
Did
discussion today.
you give me the floor or not? Do I have the floor?
Continue.
What I'm saying is I see no one on this board, even with the one absent member, who would not agree to consider this proposal, this ordinance, at the same time that we are looking at a development proposal that would need this.
But it's not tethered to it.
I'm not saying it's tethered to it, but the council can tether it. But there's nothing in the law that says the council cannot hear on the same evening, on the same agenda, two different items, one an ordinance amendment and one a
Of
development
course, but now
proposal.
we're talking about, I mean, there's nothing in the law that says I can't do a backflip up here either, and I'm telling you I can't.
Mayor, you're being
That's-
ridiculous.
I'm not. It's very, are you anti-apartments in Westlake?
I said I'm
Because
not.
without this, there's no ability to have them.
No.
Or anti-hotel.
I said at the beginning, I don't have any objection to what they're proposing in the ordinance.
Well, thank you for not.
I have an objection to why it's being proposed now.
Anything would have
Because
to
it's
come in front of us
a
again.
precursor to something that's gonna come soon.
Everything we do is a precursor. Everything. Everything we do. Every single thing we do is a precursor.
You have an answer for everything, but you're not really thinking in long term.
You got to zoom out. All right. Any more council discussion? If not, I'd like a motion on this
I'll
item.
move this item be tabled.
To a time certain, sir.
I'll move this item be tabled for 2 months.
I'm not gonna go take that vote. It doesn't make sense. We're moving backwards instead of forwards.
You're not listening to the residents.
The motion fails for lack of second.
Waiting for the second motion.
I'm ready for another motion.
All right, I'm gonna move that the motion to recommend approval of the first reading of the ordinance 2020,
Reading.
excuse me,
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
2026 XX, chapter 18, solid waste.
I'll second it because it's the first reading.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Leonard, second by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call, Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Werner,
No?
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-1.
New business. Approval of interlocal agreement for disaster debris management between the city of Westlake and the Solid Waste Authority. Mr. City Manager, do you have some discussion on this item?
This is really housekeeping, and I have the operations coordinator here, but this item simply, Mayor, is an is a request to improve an interlocal agreement between the city of Westlake and the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, and authorize the mayor to execute this agreement. In your packet, you should have the draft of the interlocal agreement as well as the resolution that's been drafted by our attorney's office. I would note that there's also a memorandum of understanding that should also be executed as well. It is required for us to enter into that, sign that MOU based on Senate Bill 180. And I would ask that if you have any questions, we're happy to.
In layman terms, this is an agreement for storm debris.
Yes, so this is, we're late because hurricane season started.
Hurricane
yesterday.
season precursor to help anticipate
Yes,
possibility of having to remove some storm debris.
yes. In order for us to dispose of storm debris, we have to have this agreement in place with the Solid Waste Authority of Palm
So
Beach
we're
County.
putting an agreement just in case we have to remove some storm debris.
That's
Debris
correct.
because of a storm.
Yes.
Precursor. Okay. I would like to entertain let's open up for council discussion. It's not, is this a public hearing?
No, sir.
No. Council discussion on this item?
I do not, not for this.
Everybody good with the agreement with solid waste, remove storm debris as a precursor in case we get some storms and we have to remove some debris? Okay, need a motion?
Mr. Mayor, if I could respectfully request that any motion allow for staff to prepare a resolution
Sure.
later, if necessary, to accompany the MOU.
I will advise that any motion goes with our counselor's advice.
I'll move approval of the proposed resolution 2026-11, along with any additional resolutions that staff may need to accommodate this proposal.
That's second.
We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Werner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. We have before us the approval of proposed revisions to the Housing Assistance Purchase Program yearly guidelines. I believe we have a presentation from staff.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, and the public. My name is Taylor Garcia with the City of Westlake. I'm the Housing Assistance Program Manager. I'm here today to bring to you the HAPPY Program Guideline Updates and Recommendations. Okay, so just a little bit of history on the HAPPY Program for those of you who don't know. What is the HAPPY Program? It was created in 2018. It's a city-supported housing assistance initiative. It's funded through partnership with Minto, PBLH, LLC, and the Westlake Community Foundation. Why was HAPPY created? To support attainable homeownership opportunities, encourage workforce and family retention, promote long-term community investment, and strengthen Westlake's long-term housing strategy. Here are some statistics. Year to date, so as I stated, the program was initiated in 2018. So year to date, 135 households were assisted with the HAPPY Program. In total, year to date, $3,232,424 have been awarded. In 2026, 34 households have been assisted. And in 2026 so far, a total of $956,244 have been awarded. So let's look at the program growth so far. It has increased application activity. So because of that, there is a need for clearer procedures, improve consistency and transparency. The last update to the HAPPY Program was in 2024. And another reason for this is we are responding to a growing and evolving community. We want to support Westlake's continued residential growth, address rising housing costs and inflation impacts, enhance coordination with additional grant and funding opportunities, improve stackability, create innovative pathways to sustainable homeownership, and support long-term community stability, and modernize the program operations and eligibility standards. I think that is it. So I am going to then just kind of read off the meeting agenda cover sheet for you. For the summary of this is the proposed revisions to the Housing Assistance Purchase Program yearly overview and guidelines are intended to update and clarify program requirements, improve administrative consistency, align the program with current housing market conditions, and support the city's long-term housing goals. Revisions include updates to eligibility criteria, underwriting and affordability review considerations, income and purchase price limits, application procedures, and program administration provisions. That is my presentation. I will open it to council questions. Thank you.
Congratulations on winning
Yes.
the Housing Award recently for the Happy Program.
Thank you.
Very well done. For those of you who aren't really familiar with the Happy Program, it's basically a piece of every house that gets sold or resold in Westlake. $1,500?
Yes, and it also includes the commercial properties also.
So $1,500 of every house that gets sold goes into a trust fund, and those funds can only be used towards the Happy Program, except for 7% of the balance of the fund is allowed to administer the fund. So even Taylor's salary doesn't come out of our budget or your tax dollars. It comes out of the Housing Trusts Fund. And the purpose of that program is to help get people into their first home generally. One thing I will say that I'm really proud that you've done is created this Westlake retention aspect of the Happy Program, which never existed before, where it's to encourage keeping Westlake residents in Westlake. Families grow, families shrink. Sometimes you may have an opportunity to move. And this, if they qualify for the program, which are income requirements, as well as caps on the amount of home, it will keep those good Westlakers in Westlake if they need an extra little leg up. Is there anything else you want to just speak freely about the program?
Yes, so yes, and I'll speak to the community retention consideration, which is a new addition to the updates. And to the public, in support of the city of Westlake's long-term housing community development goals, current residents of the city of Westlake may be considered for the program participation under the community retention consideration provision. So pretty much eligible applicants may include current or previous Happy Program recipients and other current Westlake residents who have continuously occupied their primary residence within the city of Westlake for a minimum of 3 years and are seeking to purchase another primary residence within the city of Westlake. And the applicant considered that there's provisions in there. They have to meet the eligibility requirements in there, including the one of that this is for new construction homes. So pretty much this opens the door to current Westlake residents, where this will kind of bypass the first-time home buyer eligibility piece. So let's say you have somebody in a Grand Cheffelair and all your kids moved out and you're now empty nester, and maybe you want to get a hibiscus or go and move into the 55 and older community, and you can apply for the Happy Program.
Can you also touch on Mr. Farber's question earlier on why we're targeting new construction in the city of Westlake for now and not including resale homes as part of the pool of what you can use Happy towards?
Correct. Yes. So the Happy Program was initially designed around new construction homes within Westlake. So we did research the possibility of including resale homes. However, doing so would introduce additional administrative complexity, which includes property condition reviews, repair considerations, varying appraisal issues, and expanded underwriting requirements. So based on that review, staff determined that maintaining the program's focus on new construction remains the best fit for this current program structure. However, a separate housing initiative specifically designed for resale properties could be explored.
I might get yelled at, but I'm going to answer the question from a different lens also. I'm going to answer it from a city's leadership lens. So City of Westlake, we're in our growth phase right now, right? The last thing I think the city should do is subsidize resales when we're trying to grow the city. That's why new construction, it's like if you've got a jar filled with 15 marbles, right? You take one marble out, put a new one in, there's still 15. We're trying to add marbles to the jar. We're trying to grow the city, which I think is also part of the reason why resales weren't included at this point. There will come a time where we're happy, we'll absolutely address resales. But as we're trying to grow our city and get more people walking the streets and going into stores and going into businesses, it makes more sense to bring in new people and new homes versus recycle, existing properties. So that's basically the logic from the leadership lens. In a city in its growth phase, we're trying to grow the city, not subsidize resales. Does anybody have any questions for Taylor on her amazing hard work, which she hasn't been on the job that long, is already winning awards for us?
I've had 2 meetings with her regarding this.
Yes.
Please.
Taylor, first of all, thank you for what you are doing and what you've done for the last few months. In the analysis that you referred to in your presentation about what it would take to include resales.
Yes.
Did you do that analysis?
Yes.
When?
I cannot give you the specific date, but I can say within the last month.
And did that analysis include any analysis about how much we've grown so far, how many housing units are out there, how many resales are available each year? And whether those additional tasks that you identified would require additional funding that could be also funded through the HAPPY program?
I would have to go back to my research to exactly answer that specific question, but in my research, I did see that it will increase a lot of administrative complexities. Right now, the HAPPY program is geared as a second mortgage. And right now we did add in this provision to include possibly a third mortgage if they were receiving another grant. So when it comes to resale, how this application is done is that within 45 days of close. So when there is a resale, sometimes people can turn around and close in a home within a week. And that would not be, we would not be able to review and to award within that timely fashion of how the HAPPY program is currently set up. So that's why I stated, we're not saying that it's not a possibility to include resale homes in another housing initiative. It might not even be a HAPPY program. We might call it the resale program. But for HAPPY, it was specifically made for new construction. There would have to be a lot of administrative complexities.
Did your analysis include how many resales occurred over a period of a year, let's say, and what revenue was generated to the HAPPY program from those resales?
I have the number not off the top of my head of how many of the resales were contributed into it, but the front end of your question, I'm not understanding.
Well, every time there's a resale, $1,500
Correct.
goes into the pot.
Correct.
Were there more resales over the last year, let's say, than there were new constructions homes sold through HAPPY?
I don't have those numbers on me.
A question for the city attorney. Since this HAPPY program receives funding from resales, is there an inequity in your mind that resales are not included in the program?
And in equity, that's outside my purview, sir.
Is there a legal,
If
a legal matter?
If I may, real.
Mayor.
I can answer. I don't think it's a legal impediment. It's not. It's an option you can explore, but not including it isn't fatal to the program.
Not including resales?
Correct. Yes.
Is a fatality?
This is not.
Is not a fatality. Okay.
If I may, what's the current cap before your revisions on,
The current cap for awards was $35,000.
on housing
Oh, the previous,
previous cap?
it was 557,000 and change.
So every single home that's over 560,000 also contributes to the program, every single one, including your $1 million homes and your $800,000 homes and your $900,000 homes. And they're also excluded. So there's no equity disparity.
Oh, I understand that.
It's not intended to be, everybody contributes, but it's not intended to be able to be given to everybody, including $1 million homes and so on and so forth.
Taylor, can you foresee, or do you foresee today a threshold over which the number of new homes under construction versus those that are under resale would cause you to recommend that we include resales?
May you repeat that question? I'm trying to follow it.
At what point would you suggest that we include resales in this program? What would be the metric for that?
My recommendation is that resales, if we wanted to include resales, we would create a whole new housing initiative program itself and keep Happy as a one initiative and create another. There's nothing that's stopping the housing department from having more. And also we could go back to the Westlake Community Foundation and discuss using those funds for other housing initiatives so that we can still pull it's not only Happy funds, right? So the Westlake Community Foundation is giving us this money to use towards housing initiatives. So we can have multiple housing initiatives. Happy can be one, and we can have another housing initiative that is geared towards towards the resale.
Who sits on the board of the Westlake Foundation?
I do not know the names off the top of my head.
Well, that'll be an interesting thing to learn. Do you report to the foundation?
I do not.
Does the mayor know?
She doesn't report to the foundation.
Do you know who sits on the foundation?
I have no idea. Our funds are tethered from $1,500 to every home that come into an account. We've got over $4.5 million sitting in that account, and we've given away $900,000 so far.
Yes, and let me be clear, is any new construction home in the city of Westlake, so with any developer, any builder.
So Happy, for the purpose of the public, Happy is no easy task. A recipient of Happy has to go through a class.
Yes.
Right? Not every mortgage wants to work with Happy because they have to go on as a second or a third. There's only certain lenders, and these are all reasons that contribute to why it would be difficult to include resale. When you've got new construction, you've got, lender A, lender B, you go to that lender. You already know that the house is in perfect order, perfect working condition, perfect this, perfect that. The checklist and the qualifications for the applicant, including the class, that takes a certain amount of time. That's why they can't accept a Happy applicant that's closer than 45 days of closing.
Correct.
Has to be more than 45 days. There's all these hoops basically that have
Yes.
to get jumped through, and that can only exist
Mhm.
with new construction at this time.
Correct.
What Taylor's proposing is perhaps a completely separate program with, it would have to be less hoops
Correct.
that would be for
Correct.
resales.
So
But
one
the
of
Happy
the
program.
correct, one of the stipulations in the Happy program is required for the applicants to take what's called the HUD First Time Home Buyer course, and HUD provides that course free of charge. However, sometimes those are booked out weeks ahead, months ahead sometimes as well. So like I stated, for the resale of homes, to that turnaround for them to complete that could be a hinder for them as well. That's just one of the administrative complex that we
Well,
found.
what was the motivation for these revisions?
The modernization of the growth of the city of Westlake, the growth of it as well, the increase of the purchase price limit that came out with the HUD standards as well.
And if there were to be a resale program, would the funding that comes from resales still continue to go into the Happy program?
I would not be able to answer that. That seems like a future question.
No, it's a question. I'm just asking.
Program doesn't exist. So we would have to figure it out as a council.
Respectfully, it'd have to be
I'm sorry.
It'd have to be earmarked solely for this resale.
Right, so you're saying, what you're saying then, Mr. Attorney, is the resale portion of the funds could be earmarked for resale happy program.
No, I'm saying you'd have to separate the funds.
Right.
See if you got resale program, those funds generated by the reason stay in that program. Happy funds stay with happy program.
And let me just go back to something the mayor stated earlier about the award. I was very honored to receive that on behalf of the city. Like the mayor said, I just started here. The purpose behind all of these revisions, the one thing I had in mind was somebody like me who was a first-time home buyer. I stated this, and if anybody watched my interview on WPTV as well, everybody here knows that I live here and I am looking at this from a first-time home buyer's perspective as well. So this is also about affordability, and it's not just geared towards only resale or new construction, but as some first-time home buyers, that's what they're looking for, programs like this, and whether that's resale or not. But Happy is here for the affordability and to help provide that and provide workforce housing with all of that.
I'm gonna comment on one other item that makes Happy particularly tailored to new construction as well, is that it can be stacked with the hometown heroes that new construction offers. And in fact, it's a symbiotic program, because within Happy, caps change if you're a hometown hero. So if you're a nurse or a teacher or a police officer or a firefighter, it triggers different caps. So it's really it's a way of bringing amazing heroes into the city of Westlake and purchase their first home, and now with the retention, possibly downsize
Correct.
or get into a bigger home as well. So Hometown Heroes, which isn't available on resales, is tethered directly, not tethered, but works in symbiosis with Happy.
Yes, and with these revisions, we could potentially stack with Hometown Heroes or any other Palm Beach County housing grant programs, because now in the revisions, we are allowing to sit as third if they're receiving granted funds.
Thank you.
This is not a public hearing,
No,
but
sir.
may I allow for some public comment? I mean, are you gonna get mad at me?
Why don't you call the council?
Well, I want to make sure it's legally sufficient first.
You can open it up if that's the will of the council.
Okay, should we open it up, council? I'm forward with it. Let's bring up some public comments on the Happy revisions. We'll start with Mr. Farber and then.
All right, Bobby Farber, 4829 St. Albans Way. I just ask that we could, if you could change the language for people who are getting in so that they do know that resales aren't included. I was never.
Are
told.
not included.
Are not included.
Okay.
So I think that would be good if you could put that in. I'd also love to see if we could do some type of special provision for the 55+
I
community.
love that idea personally.
You know, they're on a fixed income. They're not currently working. They
Yeah.
don't have that double income family. So I think I would like to see that happen. And if we can put maybe a time to revisit this for discussion where we could address resales and possible creating of a second fund to split it.
Yeah.
So I think those things would be paramount. And again, especially with the language change, 55+, I think that would be incredible. So yeah, if you guys could take that into consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Farber. We'll get you next.
Guys, Sally and Sarah, 4554 State Circle. So I agree with many things that you're saying, and I agree with many things that you're saying. I've been in this community for 7-8 years selling real estate, so I know exactly how it impacts the resale market. we're paying, the resale people are paying into this program. As far as streamlining it, I get it, Mayor, sorry, Mr. Mayor. I know him a
Okay.
long time, guys.
That's fine.
It would be difficult with Taylor.
Right here.
It would be difficult, no doubt, but we could use one particular lender that possibly Minto's using now. We could use the title company, people who are familiar with the program and know what's going on already to help streamline that process. Of course, we'd have to let them know that it's going to take 45 days and not all closings are 45 days. There's definitely no 1 week closings. That doesn't happen. But anyway, I'm going to read what I wrote because I came prepared earlier just because of the Happy Program, because this is a contention between some of the realtors in the community. I've sold over 200 houses in Westlake. I've done Happy programs with people. And Bobby, just so that you know, wherever he went,
Here you go.
Coulter new construction can get this program.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if he was aware of that. And I did sell it to one Coulter person. There's only been one Crestwind Happy Program recipient. So I don't think people know about it.
Well, and now the caps are higher, which that was always our, sorry to interrupt. but
Yeah.
Happy's been involved since it was inception.
It was 300,000 years
Yeah,
ago.
now we have decent caps, decent incomes.
Mhm.
It can stack with home heroes. It's like, just keeps getting better and better. And I love the senior aspect. We got to take care of our
Yes,
seniors.
We have to, and people are living on fixed incomes. So I'm just going to briefly go through here because you answered
Please.
a lot of the questions. In the past 12 months, we've had 120 homes that sold at 680,000 or less resales. 120 houses, potential buyers that would have qualified for this program. I myself put $6,000 into the Happy Program. I bought 4 houses in Westlake. I sold 2, so those people put another 1,500. So that's 3,000. That's 9,000 just from one resident.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. The people who are using it, I hope they can.
Yes.
But anyway, 710 resales approximately. That might be a little bit off because some realtors put in their new construction in the MLS, but we've had 710 resales in this city. I think it's substantial. I think it's something we have to look at. I really do, and figure out a way to streamline it. And if it's with the other program, that's great. And another thing, on our website, it says that the Happy Program is for low, moderate, and middle income households, right? Essential worker category, you can make $300,000. 300,000.
Go ahead, keep going.
How could that be affordable housing for somebody? Well, we're going skewed here on this program. This program is supposed to help people who need the money, first-time home buyers who need the money. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, that's really about it. So you answered a lot of the other questions, and I really think we have to figure out a way to tie in the resales. They're paying into the program, you know?
That hand went up first, and then we'll grab you.
Chad Isaacson, 15398 Goldfinch. Thank you for bringing this up because I think it is, and she has the stats. I think we now need to rather than later start looking at an additional program because we're looking at the available lots shrinking monthly with all the new construction that is going on versus us waiting and then scratching our heads and saying, now what do we do? Because my understanding is the money that's in the Happy Program is earmarked for the Happy Program. And I don't understand legally if you can pull that out and put it in another program once you run out of new construction. But I think Gary hit it right on the head is we need to start addressing it now. And there are a lot of firefighters and cops and nurses and people that are coming here that want to buy a resale because they don't want to wait 6 months, 9 months, a year to build. And it's already been said, we resell our house. The resales are probably funding more of it right now than the new construction. Well, based on her stats, they are. So you're penalizing somebody because they're buying a resale versus a new construction. And there are always lenders out there that you can sit down with and work the program with. They want it for the publicity. They want it for the charity programs. It's not that it can't be done. It's just someone's got to put the effort in and initiate it to get it rolling.
Thank you. Please.
Joe Siegel, 5185 Bahia Honda Lane, Westlake. Just piggybacking on what Bob said earlier and the other related comments. I think the bottom line for this is that if maybe you want to task the town attorney to perform that function, but take a look at the program as written and maybe build in or amend it to include a sunset provision. And because eventually all the new construction, all the lots will be sold, new construction will be completed. Why have parallel programs? Why not just envision that we're going to sell out all the vacant properties and just continue this wonderful concept, but do it in a way by taking the current regulations or whatever created the program and just redrafting it to build in a sunset provision and a successor program. You can retain the title Happy Program. No reason to make them that, that
We're gonna
kind
need
of
to work
change,
an
but
R in
just
there somewhere.
go, but just, just
Yeah, there you go.
continue the concept into a program that relates then to resales. I think it'll be a much easier task.
I appreciate your comment. I'd like to get council consensus. I think it would be a great idea to start working on a second program. These are all very valid points. Eventually, there will be no more new construction homes to sell in the city of Westlake. And rather than try to play catch up, we should have a second program ready to rock and roll when there's only a certain percentage of new construction left. I still stand by, right now in our growth phase of the city, we're trying to grow the city, but a separate program, we should most definitely start working on it. So if we have council consensus, that's something we can start working on for sure, a second program that would include resales. I'd also like to get council consensus to direct Taylor to start looking at how to include seniors in the current program. We've got first responders, we've got veterans, active and not active. I think seniors, I'll say it out loud. I think we missed the mark on that. That should have been included.
Senior resale, because they do get it if they're a first-time buyer, am I correct? So it's resale only.
Okay, so that would be part of the new program, but the caps could change for seniors right now, which they don't, correct? Like if we can treat seniors as we treat first responders?
I don't know if we can make based off age. I don't know if that will lead into, I don't know if we can make any provisions in this that is based off age.
Well, I'd like to get council consensus just to look into it. Let's look at it and
Just,
see if
we can explore it.
we can explore it.
Yes.
Okay, so we have council consensus on both those items.
Within a few months, not like.
Yeah,
6
like
months
right
or a
away,
year
like
from
start.
Now.
Start now exploring both a secondary program
Correct.
and how legally we would make the funds work. And what would, at what percentage of residential do we start implementing resale? Let's just start exploring.
The transition phase.
That being said, I know you've poured tons of work into this, and I think you've done an amazing job. Now you got some more work.
Job security.
That being said, do we have any other more comments or discussion on the proposed revisions? I've got one public comment. If Ms. Torres could come up.
Hi, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. Yeah, this has been a great conversation. I love the programs. I think doing a real resale program or a seniors program would be amazing. Not going to reiterate why, because everyone's made the good points. But I did want to congratulate you, Taylor, on the recognition of your, what you've been doing just these few months. And just what an amazing job to put like families into homes,
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous a little bit, but I'm glad somebody's doing it. Anyway, I did have 3 questions that I think you should be able to answer. One is in the second slide, there was like the year to date numbers and then the 2026 numbers. And I just wonder how those differentiated. And then I've also heard that some of the terms required to inhabit a home when you've used the Happy program can extend to 10 years. And if that's true, that seems kind of brutal. Is that true?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, and then I'll just say, and I also am
Secretary.
curious what the current fund amount is, and I'll just leave that there.
Oh, okay, no problem. And thank you for your congratulations. Thank you. So thank you actually for leaving this here. So for this slide, the year to date, my purpose behind this was to also show that already just in 2026, and we're maybe, I guess we could say halfway through the year, we've already awarded that amount. And to looking at the year to date, I just wanted to kind of show how close those numbers were so that we can see that there is a big increase to also indicate why we need to update these guidelines. For households assisted in 2026, we're in 2026 right now.
Half of a year.
Year to date,
Rolling 12 months.
right, so from year to date, so from right now in total, so that number does include 34 is included in that 135 and that 900,000.
What makes up the 135?
Sorry, what's the question?
The
Is it
135.
January to June or January to May, or is that?
Oh, no,
last
no.
year?
The top.
Year to date would be from wait.
Inception, thank you, yes.
So that's just.
So 2018 until now, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 135 total for the whole program.
From the start.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry for that.
So that's 135 total houses from the history of the program
Correct.
right. So not year to date, but.
Yes,
Incredible.
from inception, from 2018. Yes. Thank you.
Let's Taylor.
I'm gonna answer her other-
Thanks for all her hard work. Sorry. Carry on.
I do want to answer the other questions for the loan forgiveness. So they are not required necessarily to live in the home for the full 10 years. They can absolutely leave the home, sell the home at any point. However, if they do either sell the home or use it as a rental property, there is a percentage of the loan that is subject to repayment, and there's a percentage of the loan that's forgiven. So for instance, if they leave the home as a primary residence, AKA sell the home or use it as a rental property, within 1 to 12 months of closing, they would owe 95% of the loan back. So that is how that is done. So they can leave at any point. And just for with researching, I did research this to see if this should be revisited, but for other housing initiatives in Palm Beach County, similar to the SHIP program, theirs is actually 30 years that they require them to stay in the home. And I actually saw that in Palm Beach County, we have the lowest one with the 10 years. There may be one that's 5, but we're one of the lowest for single family homes.
If someone dies 55 plus, they have to pay that back.
Maybe the estate. I don't know.
We're old over there.
So whenever the home is sold, how I have seen some of the loan, I have not been here long enough to do so many of the loan repayments, but with researching them and seeing how they were done, if let's say 95% is repaid, in order to get the lien off the home, everything goes through the title company. So I would believe that whatever proceeds are made from the home, they would first have to pay off that mortgage during probate.
Taylor, you've.
I'm actually going for the one right now where she passed away in Crestman. It's the only one that we did in Crestman. And she's got to pay back $12,000, I believe, the estate does. What if there was no equity?
It's just the loan repayment. So just like if there was still a loan on her first mortgage, she would still pay what is.
We go on as the second right now,
Correct.
correct? So the same way any second mortgage would get repaid or not, then they would owe.
Sell the house.
Correct. The
Yeah.
value of the home doesn't indicate any of what's to be repaid.
Just real quick, I want to say, Taylor, you've had the opportunity to basically look at 135 files, I'm guessing, and kind of get a sense of these happy recipients and you being one. How do you feel? What's your overall, are these great people who love the city and champion the city? And are we doing like an amazing thing here, or can we do better? What's your, like, from your perspective?
No, we are. And one of my favorite things about my job is making that phone call to the applicant to let them know that they were awarded, and that I wish I could record that and share it with you guys, because that is one of the best feelings. I have had tears and I've had multiple thank yous from applicants. This has really helped. And more so what the Happy is helping with is that money up front, because people, they can use it either towards down payment, closing costs, or to buy down their interest rate. So it's really helping them with that money up front that they need come to close when their home is ready. So I do believe that the Happy program is doing amazing. I just think that as the city grows and we modernize and we become innovative, so does the guidelines need to as well. And that was also my piece to the community retention, was to also give back to the community of Westlake. So those who have paid that fee once they've bought a home, whether it's new construction or a resale. So now if you have lived here for at least 3 years, you can now, with these guide updates, you can apply for Happy as long as you meet all of the other income and the purchase limits as well. So the community is obviously the top priority as well. So looking at this, I always look at from that high level perspective.
Taylor, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank
We
you.
could talk about housing forever, but
I think that, and how much in the fund currently, Alicia asked, and from the balance sheet that is on this agenda. So from the as of March 31st, it's $4,620,000. I'm sorry, $4,620,451. I'll say it again, $4,620,451.
thank you. I need a motion to approve resolution 20. Well, let's do one more public comment, and then please, let's City Council, yep. Approving the new guidelines with the direction to keep looking. But
Jackie Campbell, 5220 Siesta Key Lane. Are there any grants, federal or state grants that may be able to fund the Happy program, or when the program that we're trying to get into place for the seniors? Are there any grants that we could explore? That would be, I don't know, federal grant, state grant, that could supplement the program.
So right now, the Happy program, like stated in the slide, is from the Westlake Community Foundation. This is a private foundation. Once we start exploring public funds, public grants, the guidelines are then we have to go based off of public laws and everything. So then we wouldn't be able to possibly include any the Westlake community retention possibility for seniors. So
taking public money changes the rules
Yeah.
drastically. But let's just wait we'll open up for public comment one more time, but I want to get through the agenda. Well done, Taylor. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 2026-10?
Move approval of resolution 2026-10 as proposed.
Second.
Resolution by title only, resolution of City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving the proposed revisions to the Happy Assistance Purchase Program yearly Happy guidelines, providing for conflict, severability, and effective date.
We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Unanimous yeses across the
thank
board.
you.
You've also got your marching orders to
Yes.
keep on working and exploring.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Thank
No
you.
pun intended.
Thank you, public, for all your wonderful contributions to that discussion. Moving forward, item C, we have before us the discussion and direction regarding administrative office space options. City Manager, you got some comments on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you, members of the council, public. I had a discussion with the mayor a while back, and we were looking at temporary city hall and administrative office space options and you name it. And since that time, I had a suggestion from, three of the four council members. And so I felt that we should at least have a public discussion because, having individual discussions with the council members really can't go anywhere unless they have a public discussion. So we can I could just talk about what I learned from each council member.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just preface it with the offices that the city is currently operating out of is being loaned to us from Minto. We're on their land. They're renting us the space for $1, if I'm not, or $5, 500 a year. Sorry, it was a small amount, and that land can get sold out from under us at any moment. Where there's no operating agreement, there's nothing that could keep us there. It can get sold tomorrow, and the city will be left scrambling. Now, we do have land that's coming to us. We don't have the deed yet, but I understand it's forthcoming any day now, where we will eventually be able to build our own city hall and our own home. But in the interim, also the space that we're operating out of is currently shared with Sid, who is looking at another building. And that keeps getting pushed further and further. And I just wanted our new city manager to start exploring options, in case we got kicked out tomorrow, or maybe we don't want to wait till we get kicked out tomorrow. But let me know what you found.
So we'll just go down the line. So the mayor and I, we visited one location. It was right off Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. It's at 4003 Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. It's an old warehouse and packing facility. It looks like we would pay about $16 a square foot, and the CAM charges would be another $3.50 per square foot. And then another suggestion, I think that was the vice mayor and I, we looked at, if we come in possession of the property that we haven't gotten yet, the donated piece, then we could look at putting portables on that property. I have not been able to go and look at the cost, but I do plan on doing that. But that was also an option. And then Council Member Werner, we discussed, looking at the industrial building behind the Publix there. And that could also look like a piece or a possibility. But when I spoke with the leasing person there, she indicated a per square foot of about $18.95 a square foot with a $5.50 per square foot on CAM. She said that the square foot could be negotiated on, but the CAM was a non-starter to negotiate. So that's kind of what I've done. And since we've talked, Mayor, and since I've spoken with all of you, I have met with Mr. Carter. I actually spoke with him yesterday evening. And so we discussed, a lot of this, and I talked to him about maybe negotiating a more permanent lease, maybe 1-2 years, so we can have time to come into possession of the actual real estate that Minto is going to donate, and then be able to plan ahead, because obviously, we can't stay for free forever.
Right.
And $500 a year
It's basically
is generous, and he was very forthcoming about it. He did recognize that there was discussion about, all of this, and that was good. So he was very easy to talk to, very complimentary, and wanted to be there for the city. He in fact said that he wasn't going to just kick us out or anything like that. And but I thought that we do need to get into an agreement. He did mention that there is an agreement pending with the city attorney, I guess an agreement that we're looking at updating a lease agreement that's more modernized. I think he indicated that he had
For our existing space?
Yeah, for the existing space.
I didn't realize we had a lease at all.
Well, I guess because the maintenance, we need to do the maintenance if we're going to be there. It's only fair, because if we're only being charged $500 a year, then, we simply just would maintain it. So that's what Mr. Carter said. I don't want to split hairs or put words in anyone's mouth, but we could negotiate an agreement with him for a much longer term. And, we'll have to pay something, but it still would be less than the proposals that I'm hearing here.
So do you think that perhaps by next meeting where we can talk about this again, you can have some soft costs and what it would take
Yes.
to put portable units on our eventual city
Yes,
hall?
by next meeting, yes, I will, if not sooner. And once I get that information, I'll email out to you guys.
And
You can take
then
a look
what,
at it.
what was the other option? It was,
The industrial building.
so that would require some kind of a build out?
Well, she said that, yes, but it was a little different though, because they were going to do a lot of the build out for
So
us.
can you have those
Yes, I'll try to get
figures as
more.
well? So
Yes, yes, I'll try to get more numbers, but I wanted to get this on the agenda to lay out all the options.
yeah, I mean, just so we have an idea and maybe
Sure.
we can have a direction.
Yeah,
Well, you're talking administrative offices, but there's no
Yeah.
comment there about meeting place, a
Right.
council chamber.
right. So
Is that included in your consideration?
in the portables, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
In the ones that, not in the mayor's proposal, we were
Right.
just talking about office space for staff.
Let me be clear, I don't have a proposal.
So,
I was trying to
so-
solve it. I was trying to
I'm sorry, man.
bring an idea
Yeah.
to the city manager
Yep.
as an option. There's space in Westlake with offices are already built with desks in them that
Right.
they could move their offices into tomorrow for
Yep.
a reasonable price if they had to.
Yep.
Um,
And then council members Warner's, it's all in. It's also some meeting space, for that, but,
this is already built?
no,
Oh, okay.
that's the only issue.
Gotcha.
That's
So
the
it'd be
only issue.
capital improvement in a temporary space
Yeah,
in order for us to then go
Right.
spend more money
Right.
right,
for building out an actual
Yeah.
city hall.
right. Even though they were going to work with us on
Right.
the capital
Well,
stuff.
well, speak to them about it so that we have actual,
Oh, no,
real
I've been
numbers.
in contact with Ms. Silva.
and
is
it's
her
not
name,
theoretical.
And
Yeah.
and are you folding those numbers into the proposed budget?
We will definitely have to. There, I didn't, I think in the item.
There's a line item in there already that we never
Right.
used.
So in
We're
the,
gonna
in
be
the,
doing it
A
all,
lot more.
yeah,
or a lot less.
and, well, we don't know. We don't know. We need to get the numbers, and that's what I'm going to get from you guys tonight. So I think right now we have about $176,000 in this year's budget
Which we didn't use.
that we have not used. And so we'll sharpen our pencils on each one of these
We
suggestions.
certainly need to have all of it figured out by our budget workshop.
Yes,
Like all we need to know all the facts by then.
yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can I just speak and say that I agree with Vice Mayor that we should invest in our own property. We have had land given to us. And to me, it will not make financial sense, or we wouldn't be good stewards of land that's been given to us if we were to go and pay another commercial space to build out their space, pay rent, and then later try to build on our own. So I love your idea of getting portables. Let's invest in our own land, put our portables on our own property, and plan to build out on our own space instead of renting space, building out space, and then trying to
I
build a
want to
space.
hear all the, I
So,
want to hear all the
I just wanna-
options. Yeah.
I'm just going on record that I like Greg's idea.
May I just jump in
Vice
real
Mayor.
fast?
Vice Mayor.
So this is not just throwing trailers out there. This is something that would look good. For those who were not aware of what we used to do, we used to meet in the trailer. It was
Yeah.
just for our meetings. This would be the same. It might be a trailer just for the city staff, and there'd be a trailer next to it with a ramp up there, so it's ADA compliant. We'll landscape around it, build it on the site that we're not actually going to build the new building on. And that could be right now a makeshift parking lot. But at least people, when they're coming around the town, they could say, our future city hall is right there. We have buy-in because we're actually going to meet there at that location. One day there will be a building here, but we're going to use some office space that's located right here that people can still see as they're driving around, saying one day that'll be our spot. Whether it's going to be where we do Christmas tree menorah lighting, and maybe veterans will have
Yeah.
a memorial there, whatever that might be. That's just a thought. Just throwing it out.
I don't disagree at all with any of those points. Not in the least.
He's gonna get those numbers.
It all will shake down to the actual numbers,
Totally.
But
I'm good with the free option too, if we just pay,
yeah, or if we could lock up the free option for a while.
We can have that.
The
for 2
only,
years.
the only issue is one of those buildings is air conditioning that doesn't work and all this other stuff. So,
And he we would be on the hook to
To
update.
fix everything, yeah,
fix
obviously.
everything, so.
So you got some facts to iron down, and then
Sure.
we could have a more deeper discussion. Okay, are we good to move forward? Everybody good? Moving to the next topic. We tabled
Item D.
item D, which is the sponsorship request. Let's go on to council comments. Councilwoman Leonard.
All right, good evening. I have three items this evening. First, I'd like to ask the council for support to support the Habitat for Humanity. They are celebrating 40 years of building homes in Palm Beach County. Our high school, Seminole Ridge, helps to build homes for Habitat for Humanity. So I'd like to ask the council to support a sponsorship of $5,000 for their 40th annual gala, which will go, of course, towards building additional homes in Palm Beach County. The event is October 9th, 2026, from 6 to 11 p.m. So I've submitted that request to the city manager. So I wanted to ask the council if you all would be in support of supporting Habitat for Humanity
So that
for that sponsorship.
that's an event that we get to attend.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of Habitat. I'm a huge fan of the work that they do. If you're not aware, they actually build an entire home at Seminole Ridge High School, right here in Westlake. They build it in 4 sections, an entire house through the White's Construction Academy that they have there. And then it's a marvel to see. They move the home out of the school and it clears these double bay doors by like 2 inches on each sides. They move it in 4 sections. Then the house then goes and gets assembled and implanted and given to somebody in need. I chair one of the events for Habitat for veterans. I'm a big fan of Habitat. I'm happy to support. I don't know how this is different from one of the normal events that we attend, but
Where is the event?
It's going to be at the Breakers Hotel on October 9th.
is it 5 seats? Is it 10 seat? How do we know? Do we get to attend the
Yes.
thing
there
and
is.
represent Westlake and?
Yes, I will
Okay.
get the details and have the city manager send it out with how many seats and what that sponsorship includes. So we can invest. Any questions for? Any objections to?
Are you asking to put this on the next agenda?
No, just get support from the council. We normally don't vote on it as a council agenda item. I just wanted to bring it to your
Yeah.
attention tonight, because the letter has been sent to the city for us to consider sponsorship.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, but the only thing I want to know is if it's like a table of 10, a table of 5, does the rest of our staff get to go?
All right. let
Like
me
for
get
Mayor's
some-
Ball or the Homeless Coalition or things we've done in the past.
Yes,
I agree with Mr. Warner. If we can we put it on next.
next month,
What's the
Okay.
date of the event?
October 9th.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have time.
I'll give you more
So,
details.
so July 16th, I think is our regular meeting
Yes.
for July.
Yeah,
Okay, that'll work. All right.
I'm
Secondly.
sure they could hold the table
Oh,
for
yeah.
us.
Yeah, I'll work. through
While we figure it out.
Yesterday on June 1st, the legislative convened for a special session on property taxes, and you made a reference to that. I was going to request that our city manager next month talk about the pros and cons of this proposal, this property tax change on our budget, and what the impact is going to be to our revenues and services in the city of Westlake. So,
I mean, well, I'll say it absolutely has to be part of the discussion in terms of budget because it's going to drastically affect the revenue for the city. So no matter what, we're going to have to talk about property taxes
okay.
as part of our budget discussion.
All right, and last, Westlake Wanderer, I know you had asked last month about the events topic. I did meet with some of the city staff and the city manager. We're going to bring it back next month. But for the council, what I wanted to ask is for us to evaluate whether we should continue funding for city-sponsored events that are not financially self-sustaining, and at what level of taxpayer-funded community program is appropriate when we have a master HOA that is already servicing much of that function. So that's basically what I want us to consider in July. And
I guess that should be part of the budget discussion as well. You know,
Yes.
do we want to keep having city events and can we afford them?
Or we have one big 4th of July bang, but whatever that is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll make it part of the budget discussion, as I think we should.
Yes.
Especially with all the potential changes that are coming down the pike.
That's it, master. Mayor.
We just did Juneteenth. We just did a proclamation for Juneteenth.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am. Wow. Councilman Werner.
No comments, thank you.
Okay, the only comment I'll make is, I know you guys are mad at me about the trash thing. For me, it's literally just about the trash, period. It's not about any project tethered to it. And I have to refer back to, if there was no project, it would still be a deficiency in our code that wouldn't allow for hotels, wouldn't allow for apartments. I am for apartments in Westlake personally. I think every city needs to have rental apartments. This allows for that. It's strictly about the trash, and any project still has to come be in front of us, which will come in front of you. Any project, whatever the project might be, has to come here, which comes in front of you. And there'll be plenty of time to talk about the actual project. But what we voted on today was simply trash. It was about trash collection, and it was a deficiency in our code. And I know you're mad at me for it, but that's why I voted the way I did. So, no more comments from me. We did staff reports for public safety, and first respond and fire. Let's do staff reports from our city manager.
Yes, Mayor, and I'll be brief. Well, first of all, I attended the mayor's installation on the Palm Beach League of Cities, and I think that was big because I saw a lot of my old workers and things of that nature. So congratulations, Mr. Mayor. And
Mr. President, Mayor.
To the staff, we heard a very good presentation tonight on the Happy program from Taylor Garcia. She's doing a good job.